well, not really from her head, I guess, from her mind. But like, Athena was born from her dad's head because Zeus swallowed her mom, Metis, to prevent a prophecy that her son would overthrow him. But Metis continued to have a baby inside Zeus, causing him extreme headaches until he asked Hephaestus to split. Yeah, well, stop poking me!
I won't do anything now.
We can't even get past the third slide.
I found that funny.
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Annabeth Chase from Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Part 1. Before it starts, spoiler alert for people who haven't read the book, go read the book before you watch this. Okay. Annabeth Chase was born on July 12, 1993, with blonde hair and gray eyes. Annabeth was born to the goddess of wisdom, Athena, and immortal Frederick Chase. Annabeth was born in a brainchild in Athena's mind, like Athena herself. And that's why children of Athena are called brain children, because they're literally born from Athena's mind and delivered to their mortal fathers, as Annabeth was. So, Annabeth and other children of Athena are brain children because Athena herself was also born from her dad's head. So this happened when Zeus swallowed her mom, Metis, to prevent a prophecy that her son would eventually overthrow him. But Metis continued to have a baby inside Zeus's head. And Athena grew up in Zeus as pure thought. And when she wanted to come out, she crawled into Zeus's brain and
Made a racket.
made a racket, causing him extreme headaches until he asked Hephaestus to split his skull open to release whatever thing was inside his head. And basically the story is that Athena jumped out of Zeus's head in full armor, symbolizing her wisdom and creativity or something like that. That's why she's also the goddess of wisdom and crafts and a lot of stuff. Okay, anyways, more about Annabeth's family. Annabeth had a cousin named Magnus Chase. Magnus Chase was also a demigod. He's the son of Frey, a Norse god, and Natalie Chase.
What is a Norse god?
It's a god that's Norse.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and if you want to know more about Magnus Chase's story, you should go read the books about Magnus Chase. Okay. Magnus and Annabeth used to play together until the Chase family had a huge fight and stopped talking to each other. Okay. When Annabeth was 5, her dad remarried and had twin brothers, Bobby and Matthew. Since Annabeth was a demigod, she was often a target for monsters, and this led to fighting between her and her parents, because they didn't really believe Annabeth. Annabeth felt like a burden to her family and ran away at 7 years old. She fought monsters under Athena's guidance using only a hammer. Okay, so after 12-year-old Dahlia Grace and 14-year-old Luke Castellan escaped the House of Monsters, they heard a noise and went to investigate. There, they found Annabeth hidden under a sheet of iron. Thinking that Luke was a monster, Annabeth tried to attack Luke. After finding out that Annabeth was also a demigod like them, Luke and Thalia decided to take Annabeth in. Luke gave Annabeth a bronze knife to protect herself with, better than the hammer that she's been using. Luke promised her that they would be a better family than her old family, and that was a promise that he would later break. So, together they fought monsters, and after visiting Luke's house, they met Luke's dad, Hermes, for the first time. After that, Luke changed. He started picking fights with every monster they met, and they often got into arguments because of Luke's recklessness. But Annabeth didn't really mind because Luke was always her idol, yeah, and someone she looked up to. Eventually, the trio ran into Grover Underwood, a satyr. At least I think that's how you say it. Grover was in charge of only bringing Dahlia back to the camp. But when he realized that Luke and Annabeth was also there, he thought that he could take up the challenge to bring all three of them back to camp. But he was kind of nervous and he made a few wrong turns, and they ended up not really at Camp Half-Blood. So along the way, they were chased by monsters sent by the Lord of the Underworld.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
Hades. And three fairies and a pack of hellhounds caught up to them, and they
Whoa.
couldn't outrun them. So Thalia decided to stay back and fight them so that Annabeth and Luke and Grover could make it safely back to Camp Half-Blood.
that was really brave of her.
As Thalia was dying from fighting the monsters, Zeus took pity on her and turned her into a pine tree. I don't know if it was the first pine tree or not, like, just a pine tree, I guess. Okay, so Annabeth communicated with her father via letter, and she also had a very strong relationship with Luke, idolizing him. Annabeth was 10 years old when she learned about the Great Prophecy, and Annabeth would often get nightmares of it because Sharon told Annabeth that she would have a role to play in it. So every time a new kid came to camp, she would wonder if that was the one kid in the prophecy, but none of the children, like the new kids, were a child of the bigger three. Okay, anyways, the prophecy was that a half-blood of the eldest gods, which is like a son or daughter of Zeus, Hades, or Poseidon, shall reach 16 against all odds, and see the world in endless sleep. The hero's soul, cursed late shall reap. A single choice shall end his days, Olympus to preserve our race. So, very, traumatic. Anyways, so, Percy Jackson arrives after defeating the Minotaur. And Annabeth has suspicions about Percy being the one. Her suspicions were confirmed when Percy was claimed by Poseidon in a brutal game of capture the flag. Sharon then explains that Zeus's master lightning bolt has been stolen, and that they need to retrieve it before the summer solstice to prevent a war between the gods. Sharon thinks that Hades took it, and so that he suggests that they should go to the underworld. Percy also gets his own prophecy. You shall go west and face the god who has turned. You shall find what was stolen and see it safely returned. Percy thought that probably meant like finding Zeus's master ball and returning it. You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend, and you shall fail to save what matters most in the end. So that's very like dark. Anyways, I think right now is a really good time to talk about Annabeth's relationships. So Annabeth obviously likes Luke, and in the first book, like whenever Luke came by, she would like get really flustered, or like she would blush, and then she would like, yeah. Though Luke always looked at Annabeth like a little sister, so that kind of sucks. Percy is a different story. Annabeth feels dislike towards Percy because of their parents' grudges.
What is their parents' grudge?
Well, I mean, Annabeth's mom is Athena, and Percy's dad is Poseidon. So basically, I think there's two stories. So the first story is that once Poseidon was taking out this girl on a date, her name was Medusa, and you guys probably heard the story before. Anyways, they were on a date, but like he took Medusa out on a date at Athena's temple, right at her foot, like of the statue. I think that's what happened. And Athena was really angry, so she came down and turned Poseidon's date, Medusa, into a gorgon along with her two sisters. So Medusa was actually really pretty until she got like expelled by Athena, which caused her to have a head full of snakes and eyes that if you look at her, you'll turn into stone. Okay, the second story is not this brutal. Well, basically there was a city, and gods would like fight over cities for like patronage of that city. So basically, Athena and Poseidon both wanted that city. So the citizens decided that they should have a battle, and whichever god could like pick out the best, make the best gift for them, they would choose for their patron. Well, Poseidon made horses, but horses didn't really like go with the rocky terrain, and they couldn't really do anything. So, Athena made olives, and the citizens decided that olives were better. So they named Athena the patron of the city. And anyways, that's why the city is now called Athens, named after Athena, when the city could be something more cooler like Poseidonopolis or Poseidon City or something like that.
Well, I still think I like Athens better.
Yeah, same. Okay. Anyways, Annabeth and Percy's different personalities also clash, where Annabeth likes to like study everything and know everything about what she's about to face. Percy would love nothing more but to charge straight into battle without knowing anything about whatever they're supposed to be fighting. But Annabeth still feels an attraction towards Percy, but because like opposites attract, right? Okay. Now, Percy, Annabeth, and Rover are preparing to go on the quest. And before they go, Luke gifts Percy a pair of winged shoes. The winged shoes right up there, right here. Okay. You see them? Okay. Anyways, Sharon also gives Percy his pen/sword named Riptide. Riptide is a ballpoint pen that when you uncap it, it turns into a sword. And Percy finds out that he can also later write with the pen as like a real pen. So the cool thing about Riptide is that when he puts it into his pocket, if he loses it, it'll usually like go straight back into his pocket later, like a few seconds later. Like if you throw it and it disappears, like a few seconds later, it'll always appear back into his pocket. Okay. So the trio decides to travel by bus because if they travel in the air, they could get struck down by Zeus with a lightning bolt. And
But he doesn't have his lightning bolt.
oh right, okay, but like still storm powers and yeah. Anyways, on the bus, the three Furies almost kill them, but they escape barely. And then they meet Medusa disguised as Auntie M and also kill her. After that, they're camping out in the forest when they meet Gladiola, a pink poodle who agrees to help them go west to Los Angeles. So, while they're going west, they get attacked by Echidna and her son, the Chihuahua. Chimera. Yeah, Echidna and her son, the Chimera.
Those chimera.
Chimera. I don't know. I'm just saying it the way I want to. Then they meet Eris and was led into Hephaestus' trap by him. Well, actually, Eris knew it was a trap, but like basically, Hephaestus and Aphrodite are married, but like Aphrodite's like really pretty, and Hephaestus is like ugly. You know, I'm sorry, but like still, Aphrodite just doesn't like him, and so like she likes Eris better. So like they're actually real dating. Yeah, they're like dating behind Hephaestus's back. But like Hephaestus realizes that they're doing this and he set traps for them. So like to make them embarrassed. So like the first trap was like something after Hephaestus pretended to leave when Aphrodite and Eris got into bed, a golden net fell on top of them. And then Hephaestus called over all the gods and goddesses to see. And it was like really embarrassing for them. Okay. So basically Eris led them into Hephaestus' trap that was supposed to be for Eris and Aphrodite. And after that, they got trapped at the Lotus Casino for a few days. When Percy realizes that the Lotus Casino isn't what it seems, it's already too late because it's been like a few days, even though it seemed like only a few hours. And it's almost the summer solstice already. Like, it's one day before the summer solstice and before the huge fight. Anyways, so they need Procrustes, a giant, and then kill him. Like, there's a lot of killing. Yeah. After that, they go into the underworld to seek out Hades. But when they get there, Percy realizes that Hades doesn't have anything. And Hades thinks that Percy also stole his Helm of Darkness. Hades then reveals that he has Percy's mom, who Percy thought died. After that, they have Percy, Annabeth, and Grover escape the underworld, but he leaves his mom behind. And he thinks that's what the line in the prophecy, "You shall fail what matters in the most," means as he leaves his mom in the underworld. He realizes that Eris tricked him and that he's the god in the west that turned. He then fights Eris and actually beats him. Eris curses Percy and then disappears. The Furies, who've been watching the entire encounter, realize that they accused Percy wrongly, and yeah. Okay, so then they save the day by giving Zeus his bolt back, and when they get back, Luke sends Percy to die with a scorpion, and Percy survives and realizes that Luke is behind it all. When he tells Annabeth is very, very sad. Because, she knew something changed after meeting Hermes, but she didn't really know what. And she was kind of blinded by her family stuff.
Her love for him, maybe?
Not really love, I guess. Something else. Annabeth is a hero because she's brave and strong and intelligent and courageous and loyal to her friends and the best girlfriend anyone could ever have. And she's also a leader. And that concludes the first book. Bye and thank you.
Bye.